Hello, friends. Today we are talking about a decision-making process for one of life's most important decisions, divorce. No one has planned to be here, but here we are, and we have to deal with it. This is not only one of the most stressful and difficult decisions in life, it is also one of the most important decisions, as it has long-lasting impact for the rest of your life. It will impact your financial well-being. It will impact your relationship with your kids, your extended family, and your friends. And it will impact your job and career. It will also impact your identity and your sense of security. If you have been married for a while, whether you like it or not, whether you realized it or not, being somebody's husband or wife has become an integral part of who we are. Our goal today is not to sway you one way or another. I'm not here to talk you into staying in the marriage or get out of the marriage. I'm here because I have been through it and I know how painful this process is. And I want to be with you and help you make the best decision possible. I don't know where you have been in life. You probably have made many important and difficult decisions before. Even now, you may be still making many big and complex decisions for work, for business. But divorce is not like any of the business decisions. This is you and your life. It is complex and it's emotional. So before we get started, I want to share an approach I used to make this high stake and emotional decision. It's the Dear Younger Me approach. The goal here is to not let emotion drive the decision, not to make decisions only for the short term. Rather, we want to make sure this decision is best for the longer term, for what's important for you and your family. So the approach is to pretend, to act as if you time traveled from the future and come back to now to help the younger version of yourself to make this important decision, to put a distance between your emotion and the decision so you can think deep. Look into your heart and know what is important for you, for your family, and what are your most valuable things. Think long, rather than being blindsided by what's in front of you, the pain, the challenges, the arguments that's right in front of you. Think about 5-10 years from now. What will this decision be? Think wide. A lot of times, we will be biased towards one or two or three aspects or areas of our life. We want to make sure we are thinking through all the important areas that we need to consider when we make this decision. This is a very critical step in your life, and we are not going to rush through it. The video is about 30 minutes long. It's not one of those videos you can watch and be done with it. You and I will walk through this process together, step by step. I can't make the decisions for you. I'm here to help you think, to help framing the questions. Sometimes I will ask the questions, and you need to pause and think it over. So, please get comfortable, get a cup of tea, get a notepad, get a pen. You may watch through it first to get a general idea, but then come back a second round to work together step by step with me. Let's get started. We know how important this decision is, and we also know that as humans, when we are tired and emotionally charged, we are unable to make the best decisions. So the first step is to get us to a decision-ready state. How do we get there? I'm using a 4-step called rest. So R is for remove yourself from the daily grind. If you have kids, find a trusted friend or a family member that can take care of the kids for a while, that take a few days off work. E is for enter into safety. Find a peaceful and emotionally safe place that you can take a short retreat and vacation, that you can clear your head and think. S is for satisfy your physical needs. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. With all the things going on in your life, I know you must have been putting everything above this, above taking care of your own physical needs. But it's so important. So for these few days, nurture your body and soul. Eat healthy food. Exercise lightly. This is not time to train for a marathon. It's time to recharge, to allow your head to be clear, to allow yourself to think, to give yourself energy to tackle difficult problems. T is for taking inventory of your values. When you feel you're together again, that you're human and energetic enough to tackle a hard problem, we are ready to establish the foundation for this decision. This is a time still not to tackle the problem of divorce. So resist every temptation. Try to jump to that thinking. This is to establish the foundation. So ask yourself clarifying questions to figure out the key values that your decision should be based on. What is most important to you? Divorce or not, married or not, what is most important to you and to your family? Not just for now, but for future. Remember that. Think deep, long, and wide. Think as somebody who is coming back from the future. So what is most important for you? Here is an example from somebody who did this exercise. So for her 3 top criteria for her decision making are, the first one is, I want to do what is best for my kids. I want my kids to be cared for. I want them to grow up emotionally and physically healthy and strong. Second, I want a happy family. I want our family to be able to laugh often at home. I want everyone to feel secure and feel loved. Third, I want my spouse and I can trust each other completely and have each other's back. This is just an example. But now, I want you to pause the video and think, what are the most important things for you and your family? So this is what I called my most important decision criteria list. So pause the video and make the list. Now you have your list for your decision criteria. I want you to take another step to exhaust and think, is there any possibility to save your marriage? I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, Julia, you don't know our situation. You don't know. We have tried everything. We have been in this for a long time. Our marriage is dead a long time ago. I know, I've been there. But trust me, out of all the options we have, even though divorce may look like an easy way out of this pain, but if there's any possibility to save your marriage, it's still one of the best options. So bear with me. Let's do this together. So step 2A is to explore what your marriage could be. There are 4 things I want you to look at. The first one is, if you have a magic wand that you can change anything in your marriage, you can change your partner, you can change you, what would you like to change? What would your new marriage look like? Make a list of the things you want to change. Make the things what the new marriage look like. And if your partner is willing to change, what are you willing to change on your part? Are you willing to forgive your partner? Are you willing to stop doing things that is hurting your marriage? Number 2, unless your marriage was forced on you, once upon a time, you chose each other and you loved each other. What made you love your partner? Write those reasons down. And here's a hint. Usually, the opposites attract. And it's funny, after years, what attracts us to each other now become the annoying features and characters that we can't stand. But what made you love your partner? Thirdly, it might have been a while since your partner has done any nice things to you or for you, but he has. The partner has done some nice things for you in the past. Write down what your partner has done for you in the past that melt your heart and that made you feel loved. Write those things down. Fourth, sometimes it's not you or your partner. These external circumstances could be in-laws, could be stress from the jobs that may bleed into your marriage and cause all this friction and stress. What are those external circumstances that, if you remove them, that could change and improve your marriage? Write those down. So now I want you to pause the video, make this list. This is what I call what might be possible with our marriage list. Next, your marriage is not in a good shape. That's why you are here. So let's get some clarification and understand, what are you running away from? There may be many issues. You may have a long list. So we can start with a long list of things you don't like about your marriage, and then identify the top 3 or 5 deal breakers that you absolutely will not tolerate in your marriage, that you really view are deal breakers. Next, for each of the items that you have put there to say, I cannot stand this, ask, in this issue, what is my part? What's the part that I am responsible? And what can I do to change this, to make this better? Now I want you to pause the video, make this list, and come back when you finish this list of what must be changed in my marriage. Next step. If you have made this to list, what is possible with my marriage and what must change? Ask your spouse to do the same exercise to come up with this to list. want to share with each other, this might be very difficult right now. So you may need the help of a friend that you both respect, or a marriage counselor, or if you are a Christian, find a pastor to share these notes for these 2 steps with each other. And I want to share a principle that I borrowed from Stephen Covey. It's called seek first to understand. It's very important at this step that you first really trying to understand the view of your spouse. Understand what is most hurting, that not tolerable from their point of view. Understand what they are cherishing and that's so dear and near, make them feel loved. So really seek first to understand and then share your view. This is super important. So if you can, after these discussions and sharing with each other, that you feel your heart has warmed and you feel maybe there is a little hope, just a little, that's remotely possible to make your marriage work again. And I'm here to tell you, there is still hope in your marriage. And there's no need for you to look at the rest of the video. Stop watching this and go back. Fight for your marriage with all your might. I have put some links, some resources at the end that you may find it helpful to restore your marriage. But there's no need for you to continue the divorce process. Go back. Fight for it. And I'm here, cheer for you. If you are still here, step 3 is to compare the options. This is where we have to be very analytical and very cool-headed. Remember the approach, you put a distance between the decision and the emotion, so we can make the best decision based on the criteria, based on the facts rather than emotion. So what we need to do is write down the 2 options, staying in a marriage or getting divorced. Remember the first list we made is the decision criteria that you made at step 1. So look at all the top 3 or 5 criteria. So you're looking at a matrix of option A, option B, and then look at all the decision criteria, top 3 to 5 decision criteria, and then look each one of them to say, what's the worst case? What's the best case? What's the most likely case? This is an example of the lady who went through this process we mentioned earlier. Remember, she had 3 criteria. The first one is make sure her kids are cared for, are provided for. And then the second one is make sure the family environment is loving and make everybody feel loved and secure. And the third one is that the couple must trust each other completely. So those were her top 3 criteria. So for each one of them, she has for option A and option B. But then once you have those answered, you need to ask, for the worst case at each option, am I going to be okay if this actually happens? And what needs to happen to avoid this worst case? We're not here to predict the future, but we want to make sure before you jump off the train, you have prepared yourself to embrace the impact. And for the best case, you need to ask the question, what needs to happen to make this happen? And how likely will this happen? How much is within my control? And for the most likely scenario, and it really is to ask, what can I do to make this towards the best case? And what can I do to make this better? And make sure you can live with the worst case if that happens, if that's an option you choose. So this would take some time, my friend. Do take out your pen and pads. Make this matrix of your criteria and your options A and B. Step 4, challenge yourself. Now you have made this list and this table of what for this option, stay in the marriage or divorce, what are the worst case, what are the best case, and whether you can live with those consequences. Now you need to calibrate, challenge yourself and test yourself with the deep, long, and wide approach in the Dear Younger Me framework and ask, is that truly what's important to me? Is the answer or the pain and the gain from a longer term view or the short term view? Is there any important area in life that I have missed? Is this what the future me would come back and tell me, or is it me now who is in pain saying this? And then, after you have done this with yourself, find 1 or 2 friends who you can trust, who love you enough to tell the truth, but not those friends who will just defend you no matter what. Ask your friends to give you very honest feedback on the questions you listed. Don't ask for their opinion whether you should divorce or not. Ask them pointedly, if for this case I wrote, how true it is. Did I miss anything? The decision is yours, not theirs. So don't ask their opinion whether you should divorce or not. Only ask for their opinion of the questions. And if you are a Christian, I strongly recommend you go to your church and your elders to ask your people pray for you. I have seen miracles happen because of prayers. I also recommend there is a program from Focus on the Family that called Hope Restored program that has saved a lot of marriages that were in bad shape. This is one thing I wish I knew, I wish I went through when I was going through my divorce. I'm not associated with this program, but it's something I have heard raving reviews, and I would strongly encourage you to try it. Step 5, face the truth with courage. If you have done everything, every step with the best you can, and you still reach the conclusion to go forward, I know how awful that feels, and you probably still feel very sad. But I'm hoping that you are at peace because you know you have made the best decisions for you and your family. So before we go hire the lawyer, let's do one last round of check. Take your time. This is a decision that you cannot easily reverse. So take your time and ponder. Make sure you are making the decision when you're not too emotional. If you are very emotional, take a break and come back when you're rested. And make sure you're making the decision from a place of courage. We are all fearful at times. We are fearful a lot of times of the pain, fearful of future, fearful of unknown, fearful of the hard work, feel that we may not be able to take it fearful of change. But make sure when you are making the decision, you are not making a decision from fear. You are making a decision from a place of courage. Lastly, make sure all these decisions are driven by your well-thought criteria, nothing else. And sometimes, for whatever reasons, there are many pressures, time, money, but don't make the decisions because of those pressures. Make the decision from your criteria. If you have done all this, I'm so proud of you. I know, sad as you may be, you have done everything you can, and you are making the right decision for you and your family. And I'm proud of you. In the next few videos, I will provide some help and guidance on how to get through the process, the legal process. And it's not easy, but you can get through it. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. And you may even get through this stronger and happier than before.